Hey everyone, you're watching Kickback and Chat with Amber Pickens. Today I am thrilled because I get to chat with somebody that is filled with life and excitement. You've seen his choreography on Broadway in shows such as Spider-Man Picnic, on television, film, video games, and theaters all around the world. Welcome to Kickback and Chat, Chase Brock.
Oh, thank you so much, Amber.
How are you doing today? And congratulations on the 10th anniversary of the Chase Brock experience.
It's hard to believe that it's been 10 years.
How does it feel?
It feels amazing. I think it's a lot of feelings, right? Like it feels a little bit like attending your own funeral because everyone you've ever met is here and they're saying nice things about you. And it's been, it's stressful producing in New York. I think for any small arts organization that's understaffed and underfunded, it's always a challenge. But when you see the work on stage and what the gorgeous dancers like you are doing, it's all worth it.
And thank you so much I feel so honored to be a part of the Chase Brock Experience legacy, and dancing on stage with all these amazing artists and doing your choreography is such a blast.
Oh, it's entirely my honor. And I have to tell you, I don't know if you know, but Lar Lubovitch was in the house last night and he spoke so fondly of you and said, "You have Amber now. And I had her at school and she was so wonderful in my work." So you have a lot of fans in high places.
Thank you, Chase.
You're welcome.
So I want to take it back a little bit. How did you even start choreographing? What made you say, I want to not do so much of the performing and do more of the directing?
I really was that kid who was rounding up the neighborhood children and basically doing exactly what I'm doing now, but just on a tiny scale in my basement. And there was a time when I got really serious about dancing because I knew that in order to come to New York and sort of take over as a maker of dance and theater, I had to really have a solid background as a dancer. So my teen years were focused on the sort of like all day ballet track. But I always, and I was a dancer first, but not for long. I retired when I was 18. I really knew I wanted to be making dance and making theater.
That's incredible. He retired at 18. Everyone, did you hear that? That's so cool. So how did the Chase Brock experience come about?
I was working in theater, but I wasn't yet doing like Broadway or new musicals or interesting plays. I was doing like, all the things you do when you're starting out. I was doing industrials for corporations. I was doing theme park and cruise ship entertainment and stuff like that. And all of that was really exciting. I was thrilled to be doing it, but it was not feeding my artistic soul. And there came a moment when I just had had enough and I said, I have to make something that is just purely in my voice. No matter if 3 people come to see it, I have to do it. I will go crazy if I don't do it. And so I spoke to Ashley Eichbauer in a bar and Ryan Jackson in a bar, and we all were sitting around dreaming about having a dance company. And then I rented a theater and I started making up dances and I announced a season and did it. Yeah.
That's so awesome. Where do you pull your inspiration from? I know you said that you teamed up with your friend Ryan and Ashley. Did they help with the beginning of the choreography and finding the inspiration?
Really, it's evolved over time. I think music has always been the most driving thing. I've never made a dance without music, and I'm not interested in it at all. But I love all different kinds of music, and so I'm always trying to sort of choreograph that thing I've never done before. But you guys are the inspiration. Once I know the music and I walk in the room, you've been there when I'm making. Usually I'll sort of start improvising some kind of phrase and then eventually everyone starts doing it behind me and then I turn around and I stop watching myself and I start watching you all, and that's really when the piece is born.
And how do you pick all these different dancers? Because all of us are so unique and different, and it's amazing to see the diversity in your company. So how do you do that?
Oh, I lust over all the best dancers in New York and then court them and seduce them and beg them to do my work and then convince them and trick them to keep coming back.
You do not have to trick us to come back. We all love you.
Back at you.
So how do you juggle everything? Because you have this amazing dance company that has just celebrated 10 years. You do Broadway, off-Broadway theater here, film, television. How do you juggle everything? And family as well. You're married. How do you juggle everything and remain so humble and just such a great spirit and just warm and easy to work with and exciting to work with?
That was very nice. Thank you. I mean, it's not always that way. I have my days and my moments and all of that, but I found after a while, I used to try to figure out like what world I was supposed to be in. Am I supposed to be doing concert dance? Am I supposed to be doing theater? And really, I've ultimately found that I like all of it, and I like the sort of chaoticness of going back and forth between an opera and then a play downtown and then a big old splashy musical, and then back to my company to make a dance. And so I think all of that really feeds my curiosity. And I think that because I am so curious, I think I'm always wanting to make more stuff and work with new people and work with old people again and see how it's changed and try new music and try new ideas. So I'm restless that way. So I think that, that keeps me focused on the people, the music, the ideas, and not on myself. If I was thinking about myself or thinking about, any of that, that is not how I produce. Yes, exactly. And the home life is that balance is so important, and I
Right,
feel
that
so
support system.
absolutely. I feel so lucky. And we have a home outside the city, which for about
Is
6 years,
great to check out.
it really changed our lives. And, just to have a moment to step back from all of this, we're super blessed to be able to do that. And I don't know, that New York pace would be able to be sustainable in long term otherwise.
So what is the biggest lesson that you learned in these 10 years?
Hmm. Immediately, the word compromise came up when you said that. I think that, to get anything done like this, it involves so many people, so many personalities, so many emails, so many conversations, so many points at which the whole thing could go off track. And so I think being able to be a really sensible, um, collaborator and negotiator and listener and uh, adapter and all of that, those are the things that really sustain you in a long term career, especially producing work like this over 10 years.
And something I forgot to ask you earlier when we were talking about your company, what's been your favorite piece to work on?
Oh, funnily enough, this is such a cop out answer, but it's sort of always the piece I'm making right then. Um, I think, the things that I'm most eager to revive are the Four Seasons. We made a climate change focused version of the Four Seasons almost a decade ago that was successful, but quite ahead of its time. Sadly, it's become much more relevant. We're hoping to revive that next year. There's a piece called American Sadness to Gabe Kahane's first album, and it uses a giant sculpture that Dane Laffrey designed with lighting by Jaffe Weideman. And that piece was such a landmark piece for us, but it was expensive and it involves a lot of crew, and we've only ever actually done it 4 times. So those are two pieces that I'm very eager to return to next.
So what's next? Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
So I'm directing more these days, and I'm directing musicals and particularly developing new musicals. I have 4 musicals that are in process, and so we've done table readings now of 2 of them, and one's in a farther off track. And then there's another one that we're about to do a workshop of, which is really exciting. So that's happening. And I'm studying film directing, filmmaking as well. I just made my first short film, and I'm into.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And so yeah, I don't know. I'm interested in fashion. I'm interested in design. I'm trying to just always, keep learning and keep unfolding.
That's awesome because that's what we're supposed to do as artists, keep evolving. So that's amazing, Chase. So my last question of this chat is what is some words of wisdom that you have for aspiring choreographers and different artists coming up?
It's keep making. I mean, that sounds sort of patronizing, but that's true. It's like just keep making stuff. It's interesting if you look at Balanchine's career. He made hits and flops at every phase of his career, which is so fascinating to look at. And not comparing myself to Balanchine in any way, but in my 30 dances, there are things that I made in the first concert that hold up. We're doing slow float now, but there's I mean, it's an interesting. I look at the 30 dances and I think 10 of them are really great. I think 10 of them are okay or have issues or are, and I think 10 of them are not successful. And so, but I think that's a good average, about a third to be really, really successful. So I think the important thing is to just continue working. I know that even though you have something that works early on and maybe something that flops later, there is a trajectory that you're learning more with every piece that you do. I know so much more now than I did 10 years ago, and I will know more in 10 years from working than I do now. And so I think keep making is the advice.
Well, thank you so much, Chase. Congratulations on your 10 years, and I'm so excited to be a part of it.